because I'm in it alone and I was betrayed. So I think it's very real.
Yeah, that's exactly that was exactly my thought. I was like, here's a guy who's operating on his own terms, like he's eating shit his whole life, and now he's
not anymore.
No, he's saying you're gonna eat my shit. Yeah,
love it. Warren Thompson with the Cosmic Wonder. Kingsley, after the first 2 episodes, well, after the first one, I was already hooked, just completely hooked. And your character, I love your character. He's not a typical villain. Yes, he's capable. Yes, he's intimidating. We've seen how capable he is after the first 2 episodes. But there is trauma behind him. So, what is the core emotion for you? For this quote unquote villain here, what is the core emotion that you're portraying when you're playing him?
I'm not sure the core emotion. You never set out to play the emotion, but I think the feeling is. His feelings are definitely like to do with rage, and rage that has turned into hatred for Fury and Talos, and I think it's the feeling of hypocrisy sits strong in him, or that their hypocrisy is what enrages him. So yeah, I'd say rage, hatred, and hypocrisy were like some key words that kept popping up for me.
But he's also doing this for his people as well.
Is he though?
That was my question coming up. Is it seems like that, but is he blind now? Has it become about revenge?
I think he needs the people around him to think that that's what's going on. But I think what's operating underneath for the show needed to be very different. Gotcha. Otherwise I feel like, I think there needed to be multiple layers going on.
Love that.
Yeah, I don't think he trusts anyone.
Well, and that's a great part about the show is on both sides, nobody knows who they can trust. And that's very apparent. And I've really, that sort of ambiguity of the show I really, really love. But that's great that you said that because I think it's very real. I think a lot of people can get untrusting and just blind by rage and just say, I have to do all this myself, for myself, and I'm doing what I want because I'm in it alone and I was betrayed. So I think it's very real.
Yeah, that's exactly that was exactly my thought. I was like, here's a guy who's operating on his own terms, like he's eating shit his whole life, and now he's
not anymore.
No, he's saying you're gonna eat my shit. Yeah,
love it, and that's what makes him a great villain. You have a new villain, right? That you get to create here.
Yeah.
So did you study other villains of the MCU, other villains of other movies, or any real life, maybe villains to bring this to life?
I guess I tried not to think of him as a villain, just as like I tried to think about like real examples of people who get to that place where they can project that kind of violence. Or they're completely desensitized to it, or like who feel no emotion around murder, or who can blow up a town square with small children in it and feel nothing. And I think what was interesting, without having any comics to go from and just looking at the text, was that at the end of that first episode, there was something about Gravik's need for Fury to see him do it and how he toys with him. How he's playing with them, because there felt like there was a real need for Gravik to have Talos and Fury in those situations as they were happening, which for me was the layer that I was that's the script-based information that we have to hold on to here. That's really specific. That's the kind of detail that I wanted to hold on to. Yeah, and you go, well, you hope that kind of thing is what's going to make him feel complicated and more scary or more dangerous, I think is the better word.
And I think that really does come across, because even with, your line, could have killed him, right? And in the scene, you very well could have, the character very well could have. But going back to what you said about almost like something to prove, like you've been betrayed, and now you want to stick it to him, right? And it's like, oh, I'm not just gonna go out and like kill him. I'm gonna kind of torture him, and part of that is making him watch what I can do.
Yeah, I always had an issue with that line. That line kept me up a few nights. Yeah, when he says that to Gaia, because I was like, I didn't see him really as a show off.
Okay.
The line was a little cocky, and I was like, so. And sometimes you get lines because they're writing as you go. You go
Sure,
like, well,
sure.
how do you make this work within his line? And I think that again, anyone who's around him, whether it's Pagan or Guy or those Skrulls, I was like, he just has to be toying with people and teasing them and testing them, and everything is about. I just don't think he cares for anyone. So I didn't really. That line, I was like, why is he saying this? So it's funny because that was one line. I was like, oh, I don't know if this feels right, but it's in. So.
Yeah, and your character is fantastic. I truly can't wait to see his arc and what happens after this because I'm just hooked. I really am.
Great.
So congratulations.
Great.
Thank you so much for the time today.
Of course.
Super appreciate
Thanks,
it.
bro.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man.